Welcome everyone to the dance floor, where life lessons are learned through the art of dance. I'm your host, Anna Harsh, and today I have a wonderful guest that is in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a dancer, a choreographer, and a master teacher, Miss Tamara Irving. Welcome to the dance floor.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I know that I got a chance to teach your beautiful dancers there in Georgia via Zoom, right? Because we're living through this pandemic. So that was amazing. I loved teaching them. I got a chance to share a little bit about Italian culture and Italian dances. I thought they did really well. I know it was challenging and unique for them, but I thought they did really, really well. How did they feel afterwards?
They felt good. They actually enjoyed the class. They were a little nervous about learning something that they thought was so intricate. But once you broke everything down for them and your welcoming and warm personality, I think that it helped them to feel more comfortable in learning something new.
Oh, that's good to know, because it should just be fun. And it is scary to learn something new, especially a new genre of dance that you're not familiar with. I think that can be scary for dancers in general. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your dance journey? I know you've had some extraordinary things throughout your life, and just tell us, how did you get started in dance? Were you always a dancer?
I was not always the dancer. I mean, dance has always been in my blood, but I actually went to college for marketing, and I knew I was going to be in corporate America. I wanted to be in advertising and wanted to make all the commercials, and I just really loved studying that until I got to corporate America, and I worked for a couple years, and I was bored. So
wow.
I had always been dancing on the side. I danced with the Atlanta Hawks dance team, and was doing some local things in Atlanta. So I knew that I needed to get out. And I did have the support of my boss at the time, which was great.
Wow, that is really great. And I know I've done office jobs throughout my life as well. And when I found myself fidgeting at the computer and thinking more about choreography and dance, I knew it was not for me.
Definitely.
And then I went on. Yeah. And then when I went on and got my degree in dance, and it's always been inside of me, and growing up dancing as well. But yeah, you're right. When I had those summer office jobs, I was like, nope, making the right decision. This is not for me.
So it's terrifying though. Yeah. Just terrifying, like having to, knowing that, I did spend 4 years in college, and there were expectations from my family, but actually being able to vent with my boss about her future. She was probably, I think, about 10 years older than me at the time. So she talked to me about not having regrets. And I worked at Fox Sports at the time, and they had a corporate office in New York where I was looking to move. So she hooked me up with a job there so that I didn't have to, struggle once I moved to New York.
Well, kudos to her, right, for hooking you up. I mean, and it's about that network and that support, and knowing that if somebody's unhappy, and supporting them to see them really flourish and grow and being happy with what they want to do. Isn't that amazing? That must really made her feel amazing and great.
I think so too. And I've been looking for her to just thank her, but I just can't find her. I've looked on LinkedIn. I've looked everywhere. And it, I just hope that she knew in the back of her head that she was helping me. But I remember when I left, she gave me the Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go.
Oh.
And it was just very special. It was very special to receive that gift.
And, that's something that I always tell others, that, just the smallest thing can make somebody's day or change their life. You just never know when somebody's going to influence you like that and be supportive. It just a simple, you know what, you should do this. And that's all it takes sometimes, isn't it?
That's all. Yes.
All it takes. Well, okay. So then you left the corporate world and went on to dance. And how did you get started? I know you did some professional things with dance. So tell us about that.
Yes. So once I was in New York, I started the grind of auditioning, and it was extremely tough. It was so tough just being from the South and going to a big city where everybody might not have been as friendly as being in Georgia, but I eventually got it together. And I got my first gig at Disney World. And
That's
while
awesome.
I was, thank you. While I was auditioning, one of the auditions that I had several times was for The Lion King. And I had to audition 3 times, and I never heard anything back until I was working at Disney World in a show called Tarzan Rocks.
That's really cool. I've had some friends that worked at Disney World and they say it's a really tough gig. It's hot. It's hot in those costumes. It's a long day for dancers and performers. And I know people that are just watching the show, we're always smiling through our performances, especially outdoors. That's what my company does. We perform outdoors a lot and we're sweating. We're sweating so hard. We're working really hard. So I know what that grind is like. And I have a lot of students that are currently in New York, working extra jobs and trying to, break into the business and that sort of thing. And it is a very much a grind for sure.
It is.
And it's a busy, bustling city. And I know that Broadway right now is dark until May. So it's kind of challenging for them. But so what happened after that, after you auditioned and you finally got the part?
Well, I did actually Disney World for a few months, and then because it was still under Disney, I was able to get out of my contract, and I was a part of the premiere cast of Der König der Löwen, which is The Lion King in German.
Wow.
So it was great. I was over there a little over a year, and it was amazing because the show was all in German, and we had to take a boat to work in a beautiful new theater that was designed just for the show. And the show is still thriving there, which is wonderful.
That is really cool. What an amazing opportunity. And so I guess you had to learn a little bit of German?
Yes, I had to learn a lot of German. And as the theater was not an English speaking theater, and they wanted us to only talk in German, but that faded after about a month because they wanted to also learn English. So besides the show, it just really felt like I was home amongst people that were from all over. And I did that, like I said, a little over a year. And then there was talks of a second U.S. national tour opening back in the U.S. So I actually came home and I was a part of the Cheetah National Tour. And so we toured the West Coast of the U.S. And I stayed on tour for about 6 years.
Wow, that is a long time to be on tour with that show.
It is a long time, but it was so amazing.
Did the cast change from year to year? I'm assuming like different people coming in and out, or did main parts stay the same? Yeah.
Yes, they did. The only thing that changed a lot were the main parts because Julie Taymor, our executive director, she could come in and change those parts as quickly as she wanted to. So, but if you were a part of the ensemble, there was not that much change. So it felt pretty consistent, and we were able to become a family, like so much family that I got married. Well, I got married right before I went to the tour, but I had my first child during the tour, and those are like her aunts and uncles that are out there that will forever look out for her, even if she was just still in my womb as I was touring.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. And you know what? I do a lot of musical theater. I'm in Pennsylvania right now, and I work in 3 different states, sometimes teaching musical theater or choreographing for a musical. And I know the grind that is. It's hard work, singing and dancing and acting. You've got to be a triple threat and really be on your game for show nights. And it's exhausting, but it's so exciting. And that does become your family. I've been in several musicals myself, and I hate to say this, but I always looked forward to it, because you see your family. It's your show family.
Yes. And I miss them so much. We've actually been able to communicate recently, like when the pandemic first hit, we had a lot of Zoom reunions, and it just felt like being right back where we were. I actually did the Hamburg tour almost 20 years ago. It was actually 19 years ago this September. And when we got on a Zoom, it was like we were right there back in the dressing room, hanging out, laughing. And so, even though it's been a hard time, it's been nice being able to slow down enough to just communicate with those that you love.
And that's one thing I think the arts bring us, is that little glimmer of hope and joy when things are so dark and terrifying and unsure. Did you play several roles? You played different roles throughout the years, or?
I did. So I was blessed to be a swing. And at first I didn't know that was a good thing, but it just meant that I was diverse enough to play many of the characters. So I started off as a dancer swing, and then I learned a lot more singing when I was in Germany. So I became a singer dancer swing. So I had to cover 6 dancers as well as 8 singers. And then I also had to cover, I was a Sharabi cover. So I was Simba's mother, and I got to understudy that role.
that means you're super talented in musical theater world. That is like a super talent, and kudos to you. Wow, that is just amazing. I have a friend who's a rockette, and she talked about this, how people swing in and out of, you know, being in the show, and that's huge. You not only have to learn your part, but it's other people's part. For those that are new to what does that mean? What does a swing mean? You have to learn more than just your part, and they are super important to the show. I tell dancers when I hire dancers for my company, I'm like, you have to understudy, and please know that it's not a undercut. That means I am entrusting you with just as much power to be a part of the show, and it's even more important than the main roles sometimes, because, you know, you're looking on the side going, I hope they know what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So now I know you received another degree after that.
I did. Yes. So after tour, I came back and I actually started teaching at my alma mater. And I've been here for 10 years now. And probably a couple years in, I realized that performance and dance education are two totally different things. And I needed to learn a lot more if I was going to survive and be happy and be a good teacher. So after receiving my teacher certification, I went to get my master's in dance education from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. It was a wonderful experience. I was pregnant in the first part of the year. Then I had my baby, and then I grew to from a family of 4 to 5. Learned a lot. Was still teaching. So it was a very difficult 3 years, but I wouldn't give it up because I learned so much.
That is a lot to juggle. You know, with family life, teaching, going to school, it's a lot to juggle. And now, like you said, you teach at your alma mater, and that's North Atlanta High School in Atlanta, Georgia. And
yes, I've been here 10 years.
So talk about what do you teach there now? And that's your alma mater. That's really cool.
Yes, so it's shifted. It was a magnet school when I went to North Atlanta, and so it's not. We have an elective-based program, but because several of the arts teachers have performance backgrounds, and you know, we just really want our kids to have real-world experiences. I teach a variety of things, and I offer different things too. So I mostly teach dance composition and modern dance, but I always bring in different workshops. Like, for example, I had you come in to teach my International Baccalaureate students Italian dance. I love to bring worldly dance to my students. I love to have them experience dance teachers who are currently working, as well as those who have been involved in dance for years, because I just think all those experiences help to enrich in what they're learning.
Yeah, and they get a different perspective of what the art form is like and all that it encompasses, you know, because we take different avenues and paths, but yet we all love the art of moving, the art of dance. So there's lots to do with the art of dance. Like you said, you've had 2 or 3 different kinds of pathways and careers and jobs, you know, so there's so much to do with your art of dance. Tamara, we're going to take a quick little commercial break here. And then when we come back, I would love it if you would just give some of my audience that are listening some advice, some tips, and maybe talk about what inspires you as a choreographer.
I sure will.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back with Tamara Irving here. She's a dancer, a choreographer, master teacher. What kind of things inspire you as a choreographer? I know you have some pieces out there that are gorgeous. I've watched some of your videos and they're just amazing. I love the intricate details of dancers passing in and out and the different shapes and space that they take up on stage. So tell us some subject matters maybe that your choreography reflects.
I would say that my choreography reflects life, my family, my faith, nature, music, and art. And one funny thing that I wrote down was I just love movement qualities. I don't know, it might be hard for the listeners to understand, but it's called a wavy man. And you might see them as you're driving down the street, sometimes in front of car washes, in front of businesses.
Yes, at a car lot.
I love those. I
Yes.
absolutely love those. And like, I can create a whole piece of choreography based on those. Like my family, my students know that those are like some of my favorite things.
That's
And so
funny.
even by watching the shape and flow of those, I can create movement.
Yeah, sometimes I watch water and just how water, like a drip of water will go into a pond or the ocean, and just the pathway it takes, or a leaf. Just now, if you look outside today, you can start to see the leaves start to fall, and just the pathway of the leaf falling from the tree all the way to the ground. Not every leaf takes the same path. And so, sometimes that could represent different dancers on stage. For me, like, I'm like you, nature, family. Dance and movement tells us a story, and we talked about that with your dancers in the class of Italian dances, how that each dance had a story and a background and where they came from. So I just always think it's interesting. Every choreographer has a different take on life, and we all have different pathways, and that influences our movement and what we talk about in our subject matter on stage. So that's awesome. I love that. The wavy. Now I'm going to look at every car lot and think about you. That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, Tamara, what would you say? We were talking about advice for dancers, and you've had so many cool experiences probably throughout auditioning or just in class. What are some things that we can stand out as a dancer or maybe fit in? I don't know. Sometimes we have to do a little bit of both.
For me, I would say making sure that you network, making sure that you use your resources wisely. As starting out, I was terrified when I'd be in the audition scene. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to, really make myself very visible because I was nervous.
Right.
But you do have to find ways to stand out, whether that means wearing a certain color. You're watched as soon as you walk into the room. But also, if you're looking to get into an industry, use people around you. Don't be afraid to reach out to a friend or a friend of a friend and ask just to talk to somebody about their experience. I find now 10 years into teaching and 20 years into performing that people are looking to me for advice. And I think it's so funny because I'm like, I feel like I just started this, but really I've been in it for a while. So
yeah,
I love talking to people about where I've been because somebody, I'm sure I talk to other people to help me get to my pathway. So I'm always open to using your resources and networking and asking lots of questions. There's no dumb question.
I say the same thing. I always ask questions for anyone. In the past, I asked a question. I sent an email to Capizio Dancewear, and I said, hey, I don't know if you have a large ballet slipper, like a cardboard cutout or something, because I'd love to do the story of how Salvatore Capizio met his wife, and that's how their brand started. He came from Italy, and he was a shoemaker and fixed a ballerina's shoe, and that's how their whole brand sort of came about. And so I was choreographing a ballet about their story, and I said, I just need a cardboard cutout or, something to put in the background on the stage. Well, Mr. Nick Terlizzi, the CEO of Capizio, actually called my house. And I almost fainted on the floor and said, yeah, we can do that. But I'd rather just send you shoes, for your company. I'm sorry, what?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they sponsored us that year, and all the dancers in the company got ballet slippers or jazz shoes, whatever we needed to do the piece. And sent us this giant sign that said Capizio Dancewear, and we put it at every city that we performed that piece. And it's just amazing. Like you said, you never know until you ask. Just ask a simple question. I just sent a simple email, and I thought, maybe they'll respond. All they can say is no, and I got more than no.
Yes.
So you just never know. And I picked his brain about that. And what's funny is, I think it's really ironic because his daughter, he was in the hospital, and his daughter sent me a message, and he said, could you please take a picture of the dancers, performing with the sign and stuff, so we could put it on his desk? And I said, sure. And I emailed her a photo, and she said that made his day because it was sitting next to the cast of The Lion King, because I guess they did shoes in Broadway for The Lion King that year. And I just thought, oh my gosh, that is a weird circle that just connected some dots for me. And I thought, you just never know. So our picture is sitting next to the cast of The Lion King on his desk.
Oh my God. That's so special.
Very special. And he said, thank you for sharing the story of, it was his great uncle, I believe. Salvatore was his great uncle that started the company. So you don't know where it will take you or who you'll meet or network. So that's really great advice. I love that. Well, is there anything that you guys have coming up or that my audience could watch maybe in the future? Do you guys, and how can we watch some of your amazing stuff?
I do actually have a virtual performance coming up this weekend. If you go to dancecanvas.com, that's DanceCanvas.com, I just completed a residency where 10 performers were chosen to create movement based on their response to the pandemic. And we partnered with Atlanta Contemporary, and we used their outdoor space to create movement. Each one of us had different facings, different things that we did in the space. And my piece was called By Faith. And it was just my response as a woman, as a Black woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, and just everything that I've been going through this time.
Sure.
And we actually have our virtual encore performance this weekend that you are allowed to watch and buy a ticket for and watch. And I'm excited because I haven't seen it. I performed it, but I haven't seen it. So I'm excited to see what it looks like as well.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so give us the website one more time so we can buy tickets and see the show.
Yes, so www.dancecanvas.com.
dancecanvas.com, everyone. Go and get your tickets. These dancers are amazing. And Tamara, they are so lucky to have you as a teacher. I would love to be in your class, and I hope once the pandemic is over with, I'd love to have you Zoom in, perhaps maybe in the spring, to dance with my dancers and give us a class. I think that would be cool. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for being a guest today on my show and sharing your experience and your wonderful, exciting stories about your life and your journey with dance. I'm inspired. I hope all the listeners are inspired, and I know that we'll take that advice for sure. So network with others, ask questions. Those are great things to remember. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy and you're going to get back to your dancers really soon to teach another class. So thank you so much. And we'll be right back with some more information about my upcoming events with all of you. All right, stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I want to thank Tamara again for taking time out and sharing her inspiring dance journey from corporate America to dancing in the Lion King. I know I'm inspired and hope that you take her advice of networking and asking questions when you're in a new environment, a new job, or even a new experience. She made me even want to listen to the soundtrack of The Lion King again. It is such a great show, so I think I'm definitely going to take a few minutes today and go back and listen to those songs again. I love that show, and what an exciting experience for her. I love hearing these stories of how people support others in their lives. Do you have someone special like that in your life? Maybe you always support someone that you know, or maybe this reminded you of someone that you should support. It makes a difference, and remember, it's those small gestures of kindness that make a big impact in our world. Remember the book that she was given? She talked about, the places we'll go. That one small gift, that was pretty special. What do you do every day that's a small gift of kindness? Something to think about. Don't forget to get tickets to the showcase she was talking about. Go to dancecanvas.com. Get tickets this weekend. Take time and see this breathtaking choreography and support the dance community. I know I'm buying a ticket and I can't wait to see the show. So go ahead and go to dancecanvas.com and buy a ticket. See the dancers perform. It's going to be an amazing event. Speaking of events, I have a few events I want to invite you, the audience, to join in. October 30th, Friday night at 6 p.m., I'm teaching a yoga wean class. It's a 30-minute fun yoga flow class with a little bit of spooky music. Don't worry, it won't be too spooky, but I created some music especially for the class. Don't worry, there's no tricks, only treats, because this class is going to be free. Yes, free. October 30th, Friday night at 6 p.m. Go Go to allegrodancecompany.net and click on free events, and you'll see the Zoom link to register and get signed up. It's a free class, so go and get signed up and enjoy the Halloween or Yoga-ween class with me. Now in November 1st through 22nd, every Sunday at 6 p.m., I'm offering a gratitude yoga course. It's 4 weeks, a 1-hour yoga flow every Sunday at 6 p.m. It will focus on heart-opening poses and a deeper practice of meditation. This is also a great way to prepare for the Thanksgiving holiday. Maybe take a break and think about what you are grateful for. Take time for your mind, body, and spirit. Maybe you keep a gratitude jar, or do you journal of what you're thankful for each day? Do you write it down? This is a great way to start. November 1st through the 22nd, join my gratitude yoga course. Now this course is $38, and you can find the information to register at allegrodancecompany.net. So go get registered today. You won't regret it. Maybe even give this course as a gift to someone you love. Or better yet, take the course with them. Gratitude Yoga. It's 4 weeks, every Sunday 6 p.m., November 1st through the 22nd. I also have a restorative yoga class coming up. Restorative yoga is so relaxing. It will make you feel like you've been to the spa and had a massage. So look for that on the website. Pretty soon I'll be posting the dates and times. I will also be offering a brand new class for the holiday season called Merry and Bright. This will be in December. Just a fun movement class over the holidays to lift your spirits and keep your body moving. Let's celebrate the holidays together. And hopefully I can make it a little more merry and bright. Now don't forget everyone, we offer private lessons too. If you don't want to join a group class over Zoom, you can always contact me, allegrodancecompany.net, and ask about a private class. Maybe you want to work on something specific just for you. Maybe it's choreography, maybe it's a tap dance class, or maybe you're getting married in 2021 and you want to take some ballroom classes to prepare for your wedding. This is a great time to schedule a private lesson to focus on your first dance. Make your wedding reception unique, amazing, and inspiring. Meanwhile, Allegro Dance Company is back at rehearsal working on our traditional Italian dances, of course. Also will be working on a brand new piece that I'm choreographing for the company with new music that I have created myself. I'm looking forward to the day, everyone, when we can go back to performing on a stage for a festival or for a live audience. We are crossing our fingers that 2021 we will back on tour again and seeing your faces in the audience and hearing a live applause. We really do miss it. Thank you all for listening. I hope you've been enjoying our podcast and learning some things along the way. I know each time I chat with a new person, I feel inspired, rejuvenated, and I'm learning some new things too. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. You've been listening to The Dance Floor, where life lessons are learned through the art of dance. I'm your host, Anna Harsh, and until next time, keep moving on the dance floor.